Hello, John.
Hello, Oliver.
And today we're going to talk about news.
News, yes. Well, now, news. What kind of news do you like, or what do you think the sort of news?
Generally, what I do is I try to avoid the news as the RTE, the Irish Independent, the Irish Times. I try to avoid those because there's a lot of negative news. So the news that I actually look for...
Negative, yes. Constantly, yeah, go ahead.
The news I look for is innovation, creativity, the happy stuff. Someone's doing something positive. Someone's doing something new that someone hasn't been done before. That's the kind of news I like.
Correct and right. This is what the Christian TV Ireland will be doing.
Excellent.
There was a school of thought for years, which apparently it's like the deluded talking to the deluded. Bad news sells, good news doesn't. Did you ever hear the like? When you have friends and you're walking down the road, if there's somebody that you're liable to bump into that has nothing but bad news, you generally skip across the other side as quick as you can to avoid the gloom and doom that this character might inflict on you. You meet somebody when you're having a chat with, say, as the times we used to have a chat with, say, in the pub or wherever we happen to be, for a short amount of time, and discuss the good news and the sort of news that we're after experiencing. And it generally wouldn't be all about bad news, because you would be nobody talking to you after a bit of you were at that racket. So good news is what people want. But are they getting good news? Not at all. It's nothing but gloom and doom, no matter what. So none of us look at a lot of it. I find now nearly impossible to look around, and I don't want to hear about the trouble here and trouble there and trouble here, there. You know. There's good things happening.
There's absolutely.
And people are hungry for it. The Christian TV Ireland is going to cater for that. It won't be all gloom and doom. We'll report to some events that's occurring. There's enough of the gloom and doom out there. If they want a taste of that, they can get it. The Christian TV news won't be focused on that. We'll be focusing on what's good is happening around the world, and recognising that there are places where there's difficulties and persecutions and so on and so forth, and people murdered for their faith. But we're not going to just concentrate on that the whole time, because it's gloom and doom. We'll be promoting good. Go ahead.
You can see, John, that in the news, I compared the news to EastEnders, okay? And I'll tell you why, right? You always know a bad script writer when they create a programme where it's full of arguments.
Correct.
Because it's very easy to write a script where everybody's arguing, right? It's a little bit more difficult and requires more efforts to do something creative and create a happy program. So the comedian works very hard in life, okay? And it's the same with the news media. The news media are like EastEnders, okay? There's a lot of brain dead people in it, okay? And they don't they don't have that creative vibe that should be there in the news to bring a happy edge to things.
Well, you see, it doesn't reflect normal life, for goodness sake. There's not a functional, normal family in the whole miserable series of that, what you're after talking about. EastEnders, a despicable representative of human life. Likewise, Coronation Street, and I don't care who ridicules me. A despicable programme that shows nothing but... there's no normal family in it.
Dysfunctional.
They're all dysfunctional, and this is what the poor devils are looking at. No wonder their brains has gone queer, and that they have lost any. There's no spiritual content in it whatsoever to lift up the spirit. If there's anything to do with funerals or parsons, they're portrayed as some kind of clowns.
Yes.
that are nearly irrelevant. What disrespect! Disrespect runs right through it, for the human being and for the good of anybody, and yet this is the way that they're being brainwashed. God help them.
If you listen to some of the radio stations, I listen to them going to work, and what you have is on the commercial radio stations in Ireland, you have what I call contrived happiness. Okay, they try to sound chirpy. They make these silly jokes that are just not funny. But what they should really do is just shut up, be quiet, and bring on creative people to talk.
Well, maybe so. But I mean, there's such marvellous, humorous programmes, humorous films, and so on and so forth that I certainly look at. I don't look at anything that has any except a good feature type of where I'm learning something that's good. The old films had great comedies, and some of the old comedies that was on these channels in local BBC and ITV and even ours, there was plenty of humour. And it's humour that people want, because humour elevates the spirits. There's an absence of that. There's not much humour now. The humour was in the older films, and that's what you want. But I was talking about news. So gloom and doom, let it disappear as regards news, when they're reading out the news. And this is all. I know I'd hate to read the news in any of these organisations that I see, because I believe I'd be depressed after it, because it's nothing but gloom and blinking doom. There's not one bit of good news in it, and if it is, it's very questionable what they think is good news. It ain't good news. Right. There's good things happening. People are doing great things here, there and yonder, and they're not getting one word of thanks for it. No, sorry, they're not. And so we'll be concentrating on that in the Christian TV news. People can rest assured that they'll have a smile on their face by the time it's finished. And isn't that what we want?
I think we'll give the title of this video, the song, I Read the News Today, Oh Boy.
And I'm smiling as I come out. That's the Christian TV Ireland news. That's what the content will be. They can rest assured, and there'll be none of this gloom and doom. We've enough of that.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.